My first video on Precigen was on the 7th of December 2023, and I made my first entry at $1.08. I hold 7,000 shares of Precigen, and I'm incredibly bullish over the long term. So over the long term, I mean 5 to 10 years. And so a large proportion of my investment strategy is around aligning with billionaires or investing with individuals primarily, and then investing with a company secondary. I'm always looking for individuals who have a proven track record of the past. And at Precigen, there's a guy called Randall Kirk, and he fits this bill. Randall Kirk has a net worth of around $1.4 billion, and he has historically, periodically, started biotech companies and pharma companies from scratch and built them out, and then sold his holdings in these companies at a future date once the company has been built out. And this is largely how he's been able to amass this wealth, this fortune that he has. You know, he founded and was chairman of the board of New River Pharmaceuticals, which was sold to Shear PLC in 2007 for $2.6 billion. He then served as a member of the board of directors for Skios, which was acquired by Johnson & Johnson for $2.4 billion. He currently holds a 10% stake in Precigen, and you can see from this SEC form that he bought a further 96,686 shares in December 2023 at an average price of $1.41. Now, the reason that Precigen is trading at under $2 at like 1.37 at the moment is because this is a company in development. They do not yet have a full suite of treatments available to market and sell. Yet this is where the opportunity lies. You know, like I said before, my approach is to invest with individuals, and Randall Kirk has this proven track record. And this is exactly what he's doing with Precigen. He's building out a new team, or he's built out this new team, and he's executing on a very clear strategy over the long term to build out this portfolio of treatments. And once he's built out this biotech company with 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 treatments, you know, it's very likely that he will make an exit, probably in and around a price of like $40 to $60 a share, I expect. This is kind of like the typical, if you like, conservative range. Some pharmaceuticals trade at significantly more, at $100, but like this is pretty much the kind of range that I'm looking at for Precigen. And so if you look on the pipeline of their website, which I put up on the screen now, you'll see that they are creating treatments for ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, diabetes, tumors, and some other health issues as well. And like with Immunity Bio, which I mentioned in a previous video, you know, their moat or unique service proposition, their offer to the market is being built out in real time. Another important thing to consider, as you can see with this pipeline, is that they have 4 treatments that are in phase 2. Now, once these treatments achieve phase 3, it means these treatments have been approved by the FDA and they're ready to be taken to market. And it's at this point that the share price will jump, because they now have a very tangible product which is certified, which can then be sold out to the market. This is when people will come in and start saying to themselves, this company has a level of credibility. And so I expect that when at least one of these treatments gets to phase 3, you know, this share price will 5x. The reason I predict this is exactly what happened with my investment in Immunity Bio. I made a separate video on this where I made an entry at in and around 1.3, and it's now trading at, I think, over $9 right now. And it's trading at $9 right now simply because they've had their first therapy approved by the FDA. And so my main point, I suppose, is that human behavior is very predictable. Everyone seems to be buying these shares in pharmaceutical companies once their treatments are approved. That's when the price skyrockets, right? And so it's almost like you have to make an entry before that. You have to look for individuals with a proven track record. You look for billionaires, you know. Billionaires, they're not dollar cost averaging in an index fund. They're not dollar cost averaging in the S&P 500. You know, they're betting on themselves. These billionaires, they have, like I said, you know, a proven track record, but on top of that, as well as that, they have leverage, they have influence, they have networks, they have contacts who can open up doors, introduce certain people, perhaps even influence and accelerate certain decision making as well. And these are some of the factors that I consider. You know, I'm not necessarily looking at the typical metrics of like quarterly revenue or these kind of things. I'm really looking at individuals, because I've said this in a previous video, is that like the individual spearheading the company, you know, they define the ethos of the company. They define the cultural mentality. It's these individuals that spearhead the company that shape the moat or the unique service proposition of that company. And so this is kind of where the opportunity is with Immunity Bio, is that there is nothing to announce just yet. You know, these treatments, they're not yet approved. They're not yet at phase 3. Once they will be announced, that's when the price of the share will go up significantly. And so this is where the opportunity is. The opportunity, really, the way that I look at this, you know, this is just my thesis. The opportunity that's presented itself is right now. And so this is a long-term investment for me. I only invest on the long term. I try and analyze quality businesses. I look for individuals that I believe in, that I trust in, that I feel like this guy has pedigree, has a proven track record, has leverage in the industry. And so my exit strategy with Precigen is one of 3. Primarily, you know, like I've said before, is I invest with individuals. So if Randall, Kirk sells, I may sell at that point. It may be that I sell when they've developed this full suite of treatments, when they have 5, 6, 8, 10 treatments in their portfolio, because I almost feel like that's when it's going to be at its peak. Another option may be that I wait and I hold. And I wait and I hold for an acquisition. It may be that another pharma company comes in and wants to acquire Precigen. You know, a good example of this would have been when Patrick Soon-Shiong sold Abraxis Bioscience to Celgene, and then Celgene, which was then later sold to Bristol Myers Squibb. And you know, obviously, what would happen in that kind of situation is that your shares would get converted into the shares of the acquiring company. And so with the cash that I would make when I sell, I usually split that cash up into different areas, right, depending on how much I've made. But typically what I would do is I would allocate a portion to that, maybe to something like Berkshire Hathaway, so that's money that's just kind of safe and parked in a diversified conglomerate that is now international. You know, Berkshire Hathaway are investing in China with BYD, in South America with Nubank, and they've invested a lot in Japan quite recently with Mitsubishi and a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head. So I'd allocate a portion to Berkshire Hathaway. I may allocate a portion to some more solid yet still kind of young companies that are doing really interesting things, the likes of Palantir Technologies, Nubank. It could well be UiPath. I currently hold UiPath, and I don't hold any Nubank yet, but it's something that I would really like to get involved in, because they have a great kind of moat or USP, and I feel like there's huge room to grow for that company, and they're a little bit more stable and secure than some of these kind of small cap companies. And then with the remaining part of that cash, I would then start hunting for more billionaires and go back to this original cycling back to investing with or aligning with billionaires with a proven track record, with pedigree in some small cap or micro cap companies. And so if you haven't seen my video on Immunity Bio, and if this is a subject that interests you, it's really worth having a look at that, because that will give you almost a case study of what happened previously with one of my investments that went up over 500%. And it's very much this same kind of strategy of aligning with billionaires, finding people who have contacts in the industry, who have leverage in the industry, who have gravitas in the industry, buying and holding. And it gives you a bit more detail into my overarching investment philosophy as well. But look, thanks very much for watching. Have a great day and all the best. Take care.